I'm Alexandra,
Hi, I'm Doré.
and we are the founders of Musical Theatre Market, which is a UK-based craft market specifically for musical theatre products.
Now, we have been doing various events for many years, and so we've decided to compile all the things that we've learned through the years into a 7-day training program, which we're hoping you'll find helpful, whether you're new or whether you've been doing this for a while. Exactly. Hopefully there'll be something in there that is a little bit of a nugget that makes your vending experience more successful and more enjoyable.
Exactly, and it takes you right from the beginning to way after the event as well. Okay, let's get started. Today we're looking at you and the organizer, specifically the organizer's responsibilities, your responsibilities, and all the must-have information. Okay, organizers' responsibilities. First up, good communication. So who are you getting hold of and how are you getting hold of them? Is it email? Is it phone number? And when you email, do they come back quickly? So you're probably looking about a week, 10 days before sending another email or phoning, because you're well within your right to do that. You know, sometimes emails get lost, etc., etc. If you don't get the response, then send another email.
Yeah, definitely follow up. Clear rules and guidelines. This is kind of important to look at before you sign up, because these will be things like the cancellation policy or the refund policy, and different organizations,
they'll have different terms for different events.
They do, yeah, they definitely have different terms for different events, and the bigger the event, the more terms they have. Exactly. So make sure you read through those and definitely understand them before you sign up. And if you're unclear about anything, then again,
just send them an email.
Send them an email, get written confirmation of your question before you sign up.
Okay, the next thing is clear venue and setup instructions. Obviously, you'll have information about what the venue is before you sign up, but with regards to setup, you tend to get that maybe 2 weeks before the event. That's usually closer to the time. You'll find out when you can get in, how you can get in. Is it a different entrance to where the attendees would go in?
Is there any help on the day? Yeah. Not often that they provide help, but sometimes they do. It's useful to know parking.
Yes,
because you don't tend to, and how far it is from where you offload your things, so where you can drive your car to where the actual where your stand is, because that'll tell you whether you're going to need a trolley and things like that.
Yeah. Also, anything accessibility wise or health and safety wise, it's also their responsibility to tell you all that information. Professional conduct, we basically mean that they don't gossip, they're just friendly and approachable.
And always, expecting an organizer to be professional in their approach and in their responses is definitely well within your means. Also, how they respond to you in your questions and things is often how they're going to run the event. So you can often see how that's going to
figure out what the event's going to be like by the communication.
Exactly.
And on the day being available, what I mean by that is, again, who can you go to? Where are they going to be? Is there a contact method? Because sometimes you'll have their phone number, so if you have a problem on the day, then you can just give them a ring. Or if they're walking around, you don't want to be stranded at an event where you've got a question, you've got something you need help with, and you can't find the organizer. So just being available on the day is also a very good thing.
Exactly. With bigger events, you'll find that there's an organizer's office, which you tend to go to pick up your
exhibitor
badges and things like that. But on smaller events, they don't have that. So knowing where the organizer is and that they will be there on the day, or if not themselves, a representative, is very, very important.
Moving on, your responsibilities. First of all is to read all the rules and guidelines.
Yeah, we've already said it's the organizer's responsibility to provide you with things like the cancellation policy, refund policy, health and safety information, all that kind of stuff. But it is your responsibility to read it and make sure. Exactly. Obviously, you don't have to learn it off by heart, but you need to be aware of things.
Same goes for reading all the instructions. So in emails following on from like the original application being successful and whatever, there may be updates, news, things that you need to know about. So make sure you read all of the communication.
Yeah, and there'll be things that they ask you to do. Maybe updating your own vendor profile on their website, or I don't know, that anything that changes really. So read the instructions.
Yeah. And send any questions you have or clarification you need as soon as it arises. It's again that open communication. The organizer is there to help you. So if you have a question, ask it. Otherwise, they can't do anything to help you out.
Exactly.
And then providing the organizer with any necessary information and certificates when requested. So that food hygiene certificates, insurances is a very important one, because if you don't have the certifications, you don't have the insurance, you can't go. And we want you there.
Okay, provide the organizer with previous stand setup images. It will help them place your stand. So some organizers will ask for this, some don't. But when they do, it's very important that you send it to them, because it will help them place you in the best position within the event for your products and for your stand. So if you absolutely need a wall, for example, they'll try and place you by a wall, but then it's not always possible. But they always do their best.
It can take it into consideration at least. Yeah. Do not bring products with you that are not detailed in your application. So what we mean by that is, if you do like paper products, you do posters and you bring out a new design, that's not an issue. If you do posters and you bring a whole bunch of like t-shirts and tote bags and wearables that you didn't previously tell us about, that's what is good information to have, because we place you in positions so that we've not got competing vendors next to each other, so that it makes a good shopping experience. If you bring along a whole bunch of wearables and the person next to you also does t-shirts and tote bags and whatever, then now you're suddenly creating that
you're just competing.
You're creating the competition.
Yeah.
So if you do have new products, not new designs, new product, then let the organizer know, because then they can place you in a better position so that everybody has a good time.
They might also equally ask you not to bring those specific products because they already have too many of them. So they are trying to create a good shopping experience for the customers. And if if you've got like too many of one thing, it doesn't create a good shopping experience. So they may well ask you not to bring it along. Either way, let them know and see what happens from there.
Go from there. The next two are kind of tied into each other. Always remain professional, and if you have any issues with something that the organizer has done, tell them as soon as you can, so it gives them an opportunity to fix the problem, rather than sort of just, I guess, gossiping or complaining behind their backs. Just tell the organizer.
Yeah, if you have an issue with them, they're the only ones that can do something about it.
Exactly. And remain professional. Be friendly with your neighbours.
Yeah.
We're all in it together. We're all trying to create a good event for the people attending.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, complete the post-event survey, because that's where the organizer gets the information to make the next one even better.
And it's not just things they did wrong. Although that's very good information to have. It's also helpful to let them know what went well, because that'll give them an idea of how to adjust for the next event to make that even better.
Yeah, what to keep, what to change.
Exactly. Okay, so we've touched on this a little bit before, but must have information. Now, you're unlikely to have this information right from the start. You're probably more likely to get it within 2 weeks to 10 days of the event. However, if you've not received it within 10 days of the event, definitely follow up with the organizer, because this is information that's extremely important to have. So the first one is Wi-Fi. Do you have Wi-Fi? Is there an extra cost to it? How strong is it? Some places will provide Wi-Fi, but they say you need to pay extra if you want a strong signal for taking payments and things like that.
Yeah.
Very important information.
Is it the same Wi-Fi as the general public? Is it just for exhibitors? And extra cost if you need it. And access passes. So what are they? How do you get them? Sometimes it's a lanyard, a stamp, a wristband, whatever. And how many do you get? Usually you're provided with a specific amount, but if you need more, First of all, is that possible? Second of all,
Is there a charge?
yeah, is there a charge, and how do you go about getting them if they are available to purchase?
Exactly. Furniture, sometimes you are required to use the furniture that they have.
Not often,
Not
though.
often, but we have come across that
Yes.
where it's compulsory.
Otherwise, what do they provide?
Yeah.
What is the size? What is it? So if they provide a table and it's a 6-foot table, but it's a 6-foot space, you may want to make other arrangements if it's not mandatory to use their table.
But when you say 6-foot space, we're talking
Oh,
about
a shell
specifically like a
scheme.
shell scheme. Obviously,
Yeah.
if it's a 6-foot stand, you're
Not
going to
so
have
much of a
space
problem.
around it. But if you're on a shell scheme, like a 6-foot box, and they provide a 6-foot table and there's nowhere to go,
Yeah,
that's a problem.
you may want to make other arrangements.
Yeah, we've come across that.
Yeah, so basically, do you need to bring your own?
Is there an additional cost for it
Yeah, all of
if
the
you
above.
use theirs, and what's provided, and the sizings, of course.
Sizings, yes. Electricity, is there hookup or not? If you need hookup, is there a
Additional cost to it. So if you need hookup for lights or usually it's lights, isn't it? Or if you
usually
have a
lights,
presentation or something.
a presentation, or you have a display that needs electricity to run.
Is it available?
Is it available?
Is there
If
an
so,
extra
how
cost?
much? It's usually an extra cost.
Yeah.
And additional costs just in general, see
If
what
there
it
are any.
is.
Sometimes there's a cleanup fee and some other little bits that you don't necessarily know about up front. Well, you should. It should be in the terms.
Yeah.
But look out for things like that.
Yeah. But it's usually Wi-Fi, extra furniture, electricity.
Yeah, are the main ones.
And then unloading information, which again, you tend to get about 2 weeks before the actual event. You don't tend to have that information right away. And that is where, what, how.
Is there help?
Is there a storeroom? Because some events will provide an extra space for you to keep your spare stock. Others, you've just got to keep it under your table. And I would just be very aware on setup days and takedown days. Setup days specifically, that is the most vulnerable time for your stand because there are so many people coming in and out and it's hard to keep track of if your stand's safe. So make sure there's always someone there to keep an eye on your stock if you need to be doing something else.
Exactly. Other information is where is your stand within the venue, of course, because you also need to let your fans, your followers.
Yeah, they need to know where you
your
are.
Your people need to know where to find you. Exactly.
It's also helpful for you to know in terms of how you do your setup. So are you against a wall? Are you in a corner? Are you in the middle of the room? All of these things are helpful to know so that you can create a stand that makes sense for that space.
Exactly. Same again with pack up information. How long do you have to pack up? What's available? Will there be bins or things like that for you to put your rubbish in, or do you need to take it away with you? Those kind of things are good to know so that you can be prepared for that.
Exactly, and keep an eye on your stand again, a very vulnerable time.
Because there's so many different people moving around.
Exactly. What help is available? I feel like we've covered that.
Maybe a little bit. Sometimes you'll have people there that will help you unload your car. Not very often. Mostly you have to consider that it might just be you, so we suggest you take help. And then
timings,
yeah. Expected access. When can you get into the venue? How much setup time do you have? When do the doors open to the event? When do the doors close? How much set down time you have, so pack up and things like that. And then you'll pack up and vacate. What's the process? Yeah.
And if they say this is from what time you can start packing up, don't start before that. Please keep to the timings that the organizer provides because they're doing it for your best interest.
Exactly.
That wraps up day 1. Woo! Tomorrow or day 2 or whenever you watch it, we're going to be looking at the preparations. So
the logistics of preparing the event, things like your stock.
Preparing your stock, preparing your stand.
Exactly.
See you then.
Bye.